States
What if he
Congress
doesn't
would make
want
the
to? I
ultimate
mean,
decision
we're
by
almost out of time.
two-thirds
Just put some meat on these bones. So you're always rushing around. We need 25th Amendment. The president says, I'm not crazy. I don't want to leave. I was elected by voters 2 years ago. I'm not leaving. And then you do what? All publicists have the same strategy. First, you do 60 Minutes when you're selling a book, and then you go on The View to talk about what you said on 60 Minutes. You saw that happen with the former FBI director, and now you're watching with his deputy, Andrew McCabe. He was on 60 Minutes the other day, and now he's taking a victory lap around America's media landscape. And predictably, he was on The View today to justify the DOJ's plan to spy on, undermine, and perhaps overthrow the elected president of the United States. Here's part of it.
You understand how far we had been pushed to even have a conversation that included those statements. We were all operating under incredible stress. We were all grappling with this idea that we have a president who we think may have committed obstruction of justice, who we think may in fact be a threat to national security. What do we do in this circumstance?
Because Russia! One man who likes the sound of that idea is University of Minnesota law professor and dumpster fire expert Richard Painter. He has endorsed the idea of having the cabinet invoke the 25th Amendment to remove the president. How exactly would this work? It's obviously never been attempted. This is not the kind of scenario it was designed for. But in your mind, how would they remove the president? By force? With firearms? Nets? I mean, how would this play out, practically speaking?
Well, first, Tucker, I want to tell you you're wearing a great tie tonight. I love you having the University of Minnesota colors there.
In your honor.
I've talked about the 25th Amendment a number of times with respect to this president. It was put into the Constitution late 1960s to address a situation in which the president is physically or mentally incapacitated, unable to carry out his duties in office.
No, I mean, we know what it is. I mean, we're not law professors
thousands.
like you, but we know what it is. How would you affect it? How would you do it? Presumably the president wouldn't concede to being overthrown. So would you rush into his office? Would you rouse him from bed? Like, how would you do this?
No, you don't overthrow the president. This is not about overthrowing the president.
Okay.
There are thousands of psychiatrists who have voiced extreme concern about President Trump's
I get it.
state.
You get some compliant shrinks to agree he shouldn't be president. I'm sure you could probably get 99% of them to say that. I would not be surprised.
Under the 25th
But what
Amendment,
do you do?
The cabinet, the majority of the cabinet, and the vice president can temporarily remove the president from office.
But how do they
could,
do
for example,
that? I've read the amendment, but how do they get him out of the office? I assume wouldn't want to go.
That's not the point,
rush him?
physically removing.
Okay.
That's not what's provided for in the Constitution, physically removing him from an office. The objective is to have the Vice President of the United States take over the duties of the President temporarily, while the President, for example, would get a psychiatric exam, and then the United States Congress would make the ultimate decision
we're
by
almost out of time. Just put some meat on these bones. So you're always rushing around. We need 25th Amendment. The President says, I'm not crazy. I don't want to leave. I was elected by voters 2 years ago. I'm not leaving. And then you do what?
If the majority of the cabinet, the vice president, were to temporarily remove the president, then it would be up to two-thirds of the United States House and Senate to permanently remove the president under the 25th Amendment. And the psychiatric exam might very well.
We're out of time. Look, think this through a little bit. Come back, and we can play it all out. Because you've just started your own dumpster fire in my mind, and I want you to douse it with the cool fluid of reason, if you would. Richard Painter, great to see you.
You don't need the dumpster fire for this. No way.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Put some meat on these bones. We're out of time.